Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream, and I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners just like you make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started. Well, hello, it's episode 98, and I am so glad that you're listening today. You know why? Because I'm talking about those big changes that have to happen in your business sometimes. And you know what? I hate to break it to you. Sometimes you're not quite ready for them yet. But today we're going to talk about them. I'm going to share with you 4 instances where change is inevitable. And if you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found this podcast. Why? Because I know it will be invaluable to you as you start and build a business doing what you love. If you are new, make sure you hit follow right now. If you are in Apple Podcasts, I think there's a little plus button. It may say follow or a plus button, whichever one it is, just click it so that you make sure you don't miss out on any episodes that I'll be releasing soon to help you along your business journey. And I want to invite you right now to join my private Facebook group. It's for women starting businesses doing what we love. There's so many great people in there. They are so supportive. We celebrate things. We help each other. You can get feedback. You can get help for your business, and it's free. Did you hear that? It's free. So make sure you apply to get in right now. There's 3 questions that you're going to have to ask. They're quick questions, and then you can get in the group. Also, too, I have some free resources for you. Did y'all know this? If you're in the business idea stage, I have a free Ikigai guide, which is really cool to help you match up your passions and strengths with the best business idea for you. And I have a 16-step checklist. If you're just starting your business and you want to know, what are all the things I need to be doing? Grab my checklist. So that's it if you're new. And if you've been listening a while, thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful to all of my loyal listeners. Y'all are awesome. The reviews lately have just been so heartfelt and make me so happy. And if you've been listening to this podcast a while and you've never rated it, would you do me a favor real quick? All you have to do is hit the 5-star rating if you're an Apple Podcast, for example. And that will tell Apple and the other players that this is a valuable podcast. And if you have 30 seconds or a minute to leave a written review, I would be so grateful because it lets other people know that, yes, this podcast is good. And I appreciate that so much. I am so thankful to all of you who've taken the time to write a written review. Okay, that's it. On to the episode. Well, hello, everyone. How are y'all? I hope you are having an awesome week. I've had a good week, but I have shed a lot of tears this week. And you're probably like, why? Why the tears? My son left for college. Oh my gosh, it's just been gut-wrenching, totally gut-wrenching. The change of going from this exuberant, energetic, godly, awesome, social, fun child, now turned young adult, the whole change of going from having that around to not having him around is so weird. My house is so quiet. Only have one child left at home. We've got one, my oldest, Lexi, who's a senior at the University of Oklahoma, which we are so excited for. We've kind of gotten used to her living her own life. But my son, this has just been an abrupt change. We didn't expect this to hit us so hard. So shout out to all of you parents out there that have been letting your young adults go off to college. It can be hard. Change is hard. It's hard, right? And today I'm talking about that because it's just hit me so much with my son leaving that, even in our business, things change. Sometimes they need to change. We haven't realized that they need to, and it hits us really hard like it hit us when our son was leaving. We didn't think it was going to be this gut-wrenching. It started about a week ago. I just did not expect to be this emotional about it. Both my husband and I have been emotional, so I hope my husband's not embarrassed that I'm sharing that, but it's the truth. It's been really hard. So anyways, let's talk about change in regards to your business. And I want to share with you 4 instances where change is inevitable. A lot of the time it's hard. Sometimes maybe it's not that hard. Maybe you see it way ahead of time and you prepare yourself. Kind of like when my daughter went off to college, we had prepared ourselves and it wasn't so hard for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because we had all the riffraff still at home. We were in the thick of everything. And she was just so excited to go. And it just didn't feel like our world was collapsing. And now with just one child left, we're kind of like, oh my gosh, it's quiet, right? Okay, so think about this with your business. And I want to share with you this first one. The first instance of change is actually when you think about starting your business. So a lot of you out there have a 9-to-5 job, or maybe you're home with kids, or who knows what you've been doing, but you have been yearning to start this business. You've been thinking about it. You've got something that you're passionate about or that you're really good at. And you're like, I just know I could start my own business. And that is a major change. I have clients right now that have just quit their 9-to-5 and they are taking on this whole new adventure of starting their business. And it's scary and it's hard and it's emotional. It's change that is inevitable if you want to live a passion-filled life through your career. I mean, that's basically what it is. Some people just stick with their careers that they have. They don't really love them. They make the money they need, and they're just doing that, okay? But many of you yearn for more. You want to create something special, all your own. You want to make a difference in this world through your business. And if you want to do all that and you are not in that space right now, then you have to make a change. You have to take steps to start this business and leave the old and move on to the new. And yes, it's a new stage of your life, but it's inevitable if you know you are meant for more and that you want to pursue this dream of starting your own business, right? Just like my son going to college, we know that he wants to go to college and pursue greater things and that he's meant for more and he's meant to meet more people and go out into the world. Change is inevitable. We have to let him go so he can go do that. Otherwise, if he stays here, he's not growing in the way that we feel he could grow by going to the University of Texas, right? Getting a great education. It's the same with your business. If you never move on to that next step, how will you feel that sense of, what is it? Peace. It's a sense of peace that you have pursued your dream and a sense of accomplishment and a sense of achievement and just a sense of happiness and joy. I had one of my clients say she just cried when she was home. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she was just emotional and so happy that she could help her daughter get to school. She was starting her own business now and she had quit her old 9-to-5 and she was actually home in the mornings with her daughter. Okay. And you know who you are, my client that said this. I don't want to share it publicly because maybe that's something personal, but it's a real thing. The change is hard and her quitting her old job was hard, but the feeling of what's new and what's coming is so great that it's so awesome. Okay. So that's the inevitable change for you. If you need to step out and step into this dream of yours, now is the time. Get this thing going now, okay? So you can quit your 9-to-5 soon, okay? Build a runway for yourself. Change is inevitable if you want to become more, okay? So that's the first instance when you're starting your business. The second instance that change is inevitable in your business is if you are unhappy with the way that you are offering your products or services. And when I say the way, I mean the format or the venue or just how you're selling it, how you're offering it may not be in the form that you want to offer it. For instance, let's say you have a physical store and you've had it for a long time and you're like, you know what? I don't want to offer these products in person in a physical store anymore. I want to go online. It's a dream of mine to work out of my home and have an online business, right? Okay, that's a change, right? Or maybe you are offering one-on-one work and you're like, you know what? I really want to go into like face-to-face workshops where I have like 10 people there and I can help more people at once. And it's more fun and social versus just one-on-one work. For me and my business, for example, I love having the variety of methods that I offer my services. I love it because that makes every day a little bit different. I offer one-on-one coaching, for example, which is what I started with. Then I have an online course that I created so people can work with me that way. I now have Grow Getters, which is my membership for new business owners where you get help every day of the week, whenever you need it, ongoing help as you're building your new business and growing it and making money, right? I have different ways that I'm working with people and I love it. But if I didn't like one of these ways, I would need to find a way to change or pivot, okay? Or take on a new way. And a lot of new business owners that I deal with in one-on-one coaching are trying to figure out what method is best for them to offer their services. Is it one-on-one? Is it through a membership? Is it through live workshops? Is it through virtual workshops? What is it, right? And you have to know that if you are unhappy with the way that you are offering your product or service, then change is inevitable and you need to change because you cannot keep doing this not being happy and not feeling fulfilled, not feeling like you're using your real gifts, because that's what I see. Some of you go for the easy money route and you go ahead and you get started and you start realizing, oh my gosh, I don't want to be doing this one thing all the time. I don't want to be offering it this way. I want to do it other ways too. That's totally fine. Give yourself that grace and that ability to change. And maybe not just all of a sudden stop what you were doing, but drastically reduce the amount of time that, or the amount of clients or the amount of products that you are offering in that method. And then slowly shift over into this new way that makes you happy, makes you feel fulfilled, makes you excited to plan it and work on these products or services, right? So that's the second instance where change is inevitable. When you see that you are not happy in the way that you are offering your product or service, and you know that change is inevitable and you need to shift, pivot, or create a new way of offering what you offer. Does that make sense? I'm hoping this is clear. Some of you, I think, will be nodding and going, yes, it's totally clear. Some of you may be confused, and that may be if you haven't totally started your business yet, because maybe you've never hit that moment where you've realized, I don't love this exact way that I'm offering that. I want to change it. Let me just tell you this. I was about to move on to point number 3, but I will tell you this. When I started my businesses 20 whatever years ago, and we were doing booths on the weekends at like shows and like big vendor shows and Christmas shows and all these things, and we'd have a booth and the whole setup and the whole bringing all our product, I was like, I'm done. Like I cannot do vendor shows anymore. I got to a point where I was just like done. I was pregnant with my second child and I'm like, I'm over it. I want to take this online. That is what drove me to build my very successful online businesses, was that moment when I said, this is not fulfilling for me. I still want to sell these products that I absolutely adore, but I don't want to do them through vendor shows. I want to have an online store. I've known people that have done kind of the reverse. They've had kind of an online business. They're like, you know what? I really want to do all these shows. I love it. I love going to shows and setting up my booth. Awesome. Whatever makes you happy, because if you're not happy with the way that you're selling it, then your sales are going to plummet. You're not going to have fun in this business and you're not going to make money. Okay. So that was the second one. The first one was when you're starting your business. The second one is with your products or services, like the way that you're offering them. Okay. And then the third instance where change is inevitable is if your stuff starts not selling. If things are not selling, you need to regroup. First of all, are you in front of the right audience who would want these things? Okay, number one. But number two, are these things that my people want? Because if they don't want it in this format, let's say you do have a booth at shows, but your people don't frequent shows. They don't go to vendor events. They just want to buy online, or they're the type that wants it delivered the next day. You have to know your people, okay? Change is inevitable. If they're not selling, if they're not doing well, if you've, loaded up on inventory for something and it's not doing well, you literally have to step back and regroup and say, do I have the right audience before me? Because a lot of times that's the issue. It's usually not really what you're selling. It's that you're not in front of the right people who would love it. And you have to figure out how to get in front of the right people, and you may have to shift. You may have to take on a different type of products. What if you sell some kind of baby blankets that are a certain pattern and you find out that your people don't even like that pattern, that they wanted more a rugged look or more a chic look or a modern look, right? You need to know what your people like and will respond to, and you will have to adjust. There's things that you have to do. When I had my businesses and we would sell different patterns of like backpacks and nap mats and lunch kits and all these things, and I would look at them immediately, I would not like 3 of them. And then the manufacturer would tell me like, those 3 are literally the best sellers. And I'm like, what? What? Are you kidding? I finally learned to buy the ones that they told me were the best sellers because those are the ones that will sell. And sure enough, they did. They weren't my favorite patterns, but they were my people's favorite patterns. So what does that tell you? You have to know what your people like. You have to know what they need, what they want, the type of pricing they're usually comfortable paying, right? You have to know your people. You have to know the problem you're solving so that you can offer the right products or services to them. And if you have a product that you are dead set on and you don't want to change anything, then you better find a new group of people who appreciate it. So you need to build a different audience around your product or service. And that can definitely be the case. That can happen. Okay. You can find people who will like what you have. You just may have to do more work. The easiest path to money is to say, who is already around me and what can I make for them that they would want? Okay, does that make sense? So again, that third one is if your products or services aren't selling, change is inevitable. You need to adjust, okay, and be able to pivot. Companies that don't pivot don't make it. We know this, okay? The fourth one is, and this is a big one, change is inevitable when you need to close your business. And I hate to even talk about that on here because I'm very positive and I'm very excited about businesses, but there does come a day when you either need to close it or sell it. Okay. And that is a big deal. But sometimes you can just feel it. You can feel that it's at the end of an era and you're sad. You're so sad. It's not that you don't love the business or love the products, but you know that maybe you don't have the energy to pivot in the way that you need to in order to help it succeed. I'm speaking from personal experience on this one. And if you've been listening to me a while, I had my 2 online boutiques and it just got to a point where I knew that I needed to shift the way that I did things and to market differently and all of this. And I just simply wasn't feeling it. Love the products. I still love the products that I offered. I have them all over my house. I loved them. I did very well with them. I loved the businesses. I loved the business names. I loved the colors. I loved every single thing. But something in me told me that this was the end of an era for me, that I was meant for something else. And I kept saying, I wanted to make more impact. I want to do something greater. And here I am a few years later, right? With this top podcast and a great business that I have going, coaching, and with my membership. It's been very successful. I have dreams for it to be much bigger. I'm still in the early growth stages, right? But I cannot tell you how much more I am fulfilled today than I was, say, 5 years ago with my businesses. I loved them, but I can't say that I was fulfilled, that I was like feeling like I was really making the difference that I wanted to make. Now, surely I could have been happy doing that. And I think a lot of people are happy selling products. And I was for years. I had them for almost 20 years, right? Loved them and felt fulfilled during the time that I was running the businesses. But something happened and I knew I was meant for more. I don't know if it was my age. I have no idea, my life stage, but I just was like, I'm ready for something new. So this is inevitable for you that either your business gets to a point where it does really well and you can sell it, or you may need to close it down and follow your true passion, follow your heart, and move on to another type of business because you will now know how to build a business. Each one is different. Each one is unique. Each one is hard to build in their own way, right? They have their own challenges. But that's the cool thing, is that you can take all you've learned from one business and you can either duplicate it and have a second business like I did, or you can close it down and start something new. Change is inevitable. Your business will have a lifespan. I think it was Jeff Bezos that said even Amazon will become irrelevant, right? Meaning they'll get to a point where they may not be able to pivot or change. And that's what it was for me. I just felt it in my bones that I wasn't willing to take all that on and start really taking on a whole new marketing direction. I just wasn't. It wasn't there for me. And that may happen to you too. Or it may happen that your business just isn't doing well and you want to start up with a new idea. And that's okay. You get to do that. Give yourself grace. So let's review really quick 4 instances where change may be inevitable. Well, change is inevitable in your business, but here's 4 instances. When you're starting, that moment when you say, I've got to leave my 9 to 5, I've got to finally, get a job again. Some of you have been stay-at-home moms, right? It could be anything. You could be graduating college and starting your business. You're taking on a whole new adventure of a business, right? Change is inevitable. Number 2, if you're not happy with the way you're offering your products or services, the method, whether it be in person, online, however it is, you may need to repackage it and figure out how you can still offer that, but in a way that lights you up, okay? The third instance where change is inevitable is if your products aren't selling. You need to either figure out if it's your product that's the problem or if it's the audience that's before you. Okay. If it's the audience that's before you, you need to go hunt down a new audience. If it's the product for the people that you serve, then you simply talk to the people that are already before you and ask how they would like this to be different so that you can offer it and sell it to them. Because you always want to start with the people that are in front of you. That's the easiest way to money. Okay. And the 4th instance where change is inevitable in your business is when it comes to an end, when it's time to close it or sell it or move on. Okay, so change is inevitable, just like my son leaving for college. It's very hard. At times it can be very emotional. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're ready for it and it's okay. But just know that it's part of it. You're on a journey. I'm so happy for you. And I want to invite you right now to come into my Facebook group. If you're not a member already, it's free and you can get help for your business. I want to let you know that I have a course that can help you. If you're right now trying to start your business and you're like, I'm trying to research, I can't figure all this out, this is really confusing. What are the things I need to be doing to create an impactful business and make money doing what I love? Then get my Just Start course. You can start right now. You can get going on it, go through the modules. You even get a private podcast with me with Just Start. Many people don't know that. So that's a fun little benefit of that. And then when you've gone through Just Start and you got your business just started or about to start, when the Grow Getters doors open again, you can come join me and get ongoing help for your business. How amazing is that? I do live teachings. You'll get trainings. You get sessions with your peers. It's amazing. So I would love for you to be a member. I just started Grow Getters a couple months ago and it is so much fun and I love it. And I'm just so excited at everyone's progress. So that is it. Y'all have a wonderful day. Until next time, bye now.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com. And yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.